Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
Okay, we just watched The Iron Claw, and someone who name dropped with Jeremy Hans lied to me about this movie. Okay, fuck it. It's corny. It's corny. Jeremy Johns lied to me about this movie. It's not very
I thought
good.
it was Jones. I thought it was Van Jones or
No,
something.
it's Johns, but it's not spelled like John. It's spelled like Jahn, John,
Oh.
with an S. Jeremy
Well,
Johns.
what do you expect from a dude who doesn't know how to spell his own fucking name?
It's actually a bad movie. It's bad.
No, it's great.
I get it, the human emotion that's wrapped up in here, and oh my god. But like the things you think would be the most important thing to, like, even like a wrestling fan. Like a wrestling fan, I think would be disappointed because you didn't even hit the high notes of what they did in the wrestling world. You kind of skipped past it. They skipped past it quite a bit. But I guarantee there's someone who likes this somehow. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, man? They skipped.
I think if they made a
Good.
documentary, it would have been better.
I guarantee it would be better. In fact, I think I've seen documentaries that are better than this. So it's like, why not just copy the documentary, I guess? Granted how lazy that is and boring. Like, it's lazy, but why not just do that? If you want the Von Erichs, whatever, fucking life and shit.
Yeah.
I think all of it was skipped. Damn near. It was one scene, pills in mouth. Next scene, dead. One scene
Lose
on
leg.
one scene on motorcycle. Next scene, leg gone. It's like, what the fuck?
Son's puking in the toilet. I'm going to Japan. Dies in Japan.
It's like, son, depressing call. Call from hotel.
We
Next scene, dead, suicide, like gunshot.
Well, I'm not the oldest brother. I had a brother that died at 5. Thanks for telling us that.
Don't worry, he makes a cameo at the end of the movie as a actual like 5-year-old or whatever the fuck he was. Gee,
Yeah.
thanks, movie.
It showed it when Dad was a wrestler and he came out and he had 2 boys in his arm.
Yeah.
But, don't tell us that one of the kids dies. And just skip to them being... Some of them being adults, some of them still high school, I guess.
I think there was like
And then
one high school at that point.
30 minutes later, tell us that there was another brother, but he's dead.
Oh, it's Devon Erich's curse. That I guess is supposed to be like a theme running throughout like some sort of silent killer throughout the entire movie. That there's a curse on the family or something like that.
It did say 2009, so I'm thinking somebody died.
I don't know. Well, they're saying it's... I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. I guess they're saying the curse is real. Or maybe it's not real. But then again, they did add magic into the movie. Which was interesting.
Like what? What magic?
The fucking... The son... The one who got in a motorcycle accident. He lost his leg, right?
Yeah.
Apparently he made it all the way up to Intercontinental Champion in the WWF. I'm like, bro, you're like chilling. Actually, you're doing all right. I don't know how popular it was in that little time period, but he made it to that level, and then he's like, he was saying like, oh, I'm on my way out. Like they're gonna get rid of me. I guess that was his reason for killing himself, which is kind of like simplistic as fuck. Even if a guy who's like career obsessed, he didn't portray that he's that career obsessed to where he kills himself over losing a wrestling job. So it's like, that didn't make sense either to me.
No. The only thing it showed, having a hard time adapting to not having a foot.
No, he made a great job adapting to not having a foot. He made it to fucking Intercontinental Champion of the WWF. Credit.
No, but they showed like 2 segments of him dealing with the foot bothering him.
Yeah, but they also showed 2 segments of him with Zac Efron training, and Zac Efron was like, "Get up! You need to be tougher. If you want to do this, you got to do this." So I thought that was like the makeup for that type of shit, right?
Right.
Yeah. So he made it all the way to some other championship in some other organization, which becomes the biggest organization in the world for wrestling.
Camera. All of it was off camera. Nobody even knew. If you were watching this, nobody would have known that he got back into wrestling.
Yeah.
We thought he...
True. But yeah. But I guess because they're gonna get rid of him. I guess he's on the verge of being like released or some shit from the WWF, even though he's a title holder, and like made a name for himself to where he can like do other things. But I guess he was so down and out about not being able to contend that.
Well,
killed
I
himself.
guess we need to address this. Like, one of the things I've been seeing in movies for the last 10 years, and a major part is, you know how, like, sure, you can do some things off camera. It should be like maybe 1 or 2 things for a movie.
Well, it should be revealed at some point.
Not 40%, which this was probably 60% of stuff happened off camera.
Well,
but
apparently it works for fans.
Movies are consistently doing this. It happened off camera. Just assume it. Just assume it. Just assume it. I'm sick of that.
Fans.
That is bad for movies. That's bad for storytelling. You can do that 1 or 2 kind of things
No,
in a
works.
movie.
It works because fans apparently eat it up. House of the Dragon, fans ate it up. Correct? Yeah, they did. They ate that shit
Well,
up.
that was... You talking about the time lapses?
Well, let's be honest. Like, if you want to go like the big dick version of skipping time and like doing shit off screen, like, come on. We have to go into it 1 episode to the other like it's like a new season of the show. Like, it feels like you missed a season going from 1 episode to the next in House of the Dragon. Man. You have to assume certain things, and then they explain certain things, and it's like, but time passed, but you didn't get to see it. Like, fuck it, we skipped it.
Right.
You know, we did it off screen, and you'll figure it out, but just by hearing people talk. Okay. Whatever.
Right.
It's forgivable for certain things, but for me, it's forgivable for people who bring the thing that happened back up. Like, it's like 1 or 2 little things that they're trying to keep kind of secret, and then they bring it up later on, either in the movie or later in the season of a TV show. So like,
but I'm saying it's in
now.
everything now. It's so overplayed. It's actually bad now.
Well, you know, I sound like a fucking old man. I'm like, yeah, just enjoy YouTube Shorts. Like, enjoy that shit. And maybe they're insulting our attention span or something. I don't know. Where are they going with this? I don't fucking know. I don't know who thought this was like a good idea to do for writing, but apparently it's, I don't know, like you play a violin at a certain point. I mean, someone's sad, like, type of shit. It's like they're treating us a certain way, and they get away with it with cliched, redid, maybe not even redid, maybe just inspired by stereotypical shit. And we have to sit here
another thing
accept it.
The other thing they failed at in this that I didn't really comment while we were watching it, but world making. They sucked at world making in this movie. Because this is wrestling. Like, get me in the mood of making a movie become a world. And I was not immersed into the wrestling world with this.
Good point. They didn't build the world up at all. That there's like territories, like that's the technical aspect of it. Like, oh, there's territories and there's champions from this part of the country and that part of the country. There's the Japanese fucking champion. There's this guy, this
Right.
champion, or that champion. And they didn't build up the
Right.
looming thing, the big
Right.
looming, the big dick in the room, which is like something like the WWF, where it's like a big looming organization that takes over all of it in a way. They kind of didn't really make that feel present either.
Not even in the NWA. Like, you didn't think like you didn't know who the Big Papa was, except for like one calm mention of Ric Flair, and like,
Ric Flair's another story,
Oh.
man. Oh God.
but like it was like the world heavyweight Ric Flair. All right, calm, cool, collected. What are you talking about? That's the world champion. Shouldn't you be pumped or something? No, we just focus and get to it. It's not a big deal. We just gotta get there, bro. What do you mean? No, you gotta be stepping up. You gotta have that. Like, Pravada was not in it about Ric Flair at all.
Yeah.
And then when they actually get to showing Ric Flair, that was horrible.
Yeah, like, well, if you're a wrestling fan and you know who Ric Flair is, it's like, was that the Nature Boy? Like, no. Not even, like,
I didn't hear a woo or
early
nothing.
day. Maybe it was copyrighted. I don't know. But not even, like, early day fucking Nature Boy, where it's, like, the swag, the persona, the bravado, like you're saying, like, it was a lackluster version of the guy, but it's like I don't know what they had to work with. I don't know, because wrestling copyrights are weird. They're very weird, actually.
By 1979, he probably already was the 8-time world champion, right?
I don't fucking know, to be honest with you.
Because he's won the world champion the most. That was the thing about him. I remember when it was, I'm 16-time world champion.
The point is,
I'm 19-time world champion. Woo!
the point,
So you mean you lose a lot?
or they steal it from him, whatever. The point is, we didn't get enough of like an ingratiation with the fucking wrestling world, like the wrestler did, or an ingratiation with the outside world, right? Because you need one of them to be there. I feel like I got a lackluster story from both, unlike a movie like The Wrestler by Darren Aronofsky, to where it's like I'm getting little like details that you'd see in the wrestling world, while also details of like, this guy has to live like a normal life. Like maybe he was a famous wrestler at one point, but now he's doing like small gyms, like very, very small gyms that aren't paying much, and now he has to work at a grocery mart to get by and shit like that. He lives in his van or a trailer or whatever the fuck. He's got to
If you think about
he's got
the
to get
wrestler-
steroids from the local fucking gym dude. He's hitting on the stripper chick. Like there's like more detail in it. He's dealing with his daughter that he's like, missed out on a lot of her life and all that shit. Like there's a story there. Granted, I think
If you think
Aronofsky
about-
go way deeper than that, but I'm just saying.
If you think about The Wrestler, remember the time they put into just showing you how they fake cuts?
Yes.
Like and they would show you him preparing and tucking the razor,
yes.
all that kind of stuff. Like they would take the time to really break that down and be like, this is a big, important detail. And it's just one of 100 things they did in that movie.
It's like they listen to wrestlers or something, because
Right.
it's like I thought this was like a crazy detail they put into the wrestler of the movie, where it's like he was the Hulk Hogan type of character style thing, where he's like a big famous wrestler or whatever, right? But then he loses popularity or whatever, and he has to do like Like, let's be real. How do you make money being this, like, how do you make money being a wrestler when no one likes your character anymore? Well, you do extreme shit. You do barbed wire matches with tables being broken and chairs being cracked over your fucking head and all that crazy shit. You do ECW type shit, right? And this dude had to do that to get, like, to earn, like, a bigger paycheck because his name alone wasn't big enough for, you know, the WWF style giant arena fucking thing. Like, he's like down
Even
now.
they do that kind of shit. Like, I'm just thinking Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell kind of thing.
Oh, that's just crazy. That's crazy immortal level, like, which is probably what something wrestlers had to do to, like, make themselves known as, to make themselves immortal. Right? Undertaker was already solidified, straight up. He's the fucking Undertaker. But maybe was Mick Foley that? He's kind of like a crazy dude who took ass whippings, but that ass whipping was like next level.
Right.
Where
Right.
he's now
The-
like, known forever.
He had to keep. Part of his character was to keep changing his character because he wasn't getting anywhere.
That's part of it. Yeah.
That's what Mick Foley was. He was just like, I got to change my name again because this isn't working. It's not getting the attention I needed to get.
He was extreme,
Whatever.
crazy guy. I mean, yeah. He had moments where he was just Mankind, and when he beat The Rock for a title, that was like a thing. But they had
the
Stone Cold play a
only
major role in
reason
it.
why I know he was Cactus Jack is because they told us after the Hell in the Cell match with Undertaker as Mankind.
Bro,
And they've done documentaries since, but I would have never known that.
I watched that
Hey.
on pay-per-view when I was a kid, bro.
Yeah, I
joke.
did too. Well, I didn't watch. No, I somehow got to watch it. I didn't have. I was not allowed to do pay-per-views, but somehow I saw that.
I was for wrestling. Like, my dad had a black box. I was allowed to watch wrestling, even though forgive me, Christian Americans. I watched Playboy after, but that wasn't the purpose. Okay, the main purpose was I was allowed to watch wrestling strictly, and I watched that shit, bro. And he threw him off the fucking cage. I went nuts, bro. As a child, I went fucking ape shit. I was like, oh my fucking god. That was the craziest thing. One of the craziest things ever. And then he brought him back in and slammed him through the fucking roof of the fucking cage. I'm like, he died twice. Now, me as a kid, I'm just thinking it's wrestling. Like, I know me as an adult, I'm like saying like, oh my god, they killed him. Like Jim Ross was saying. But me as a kid was just like, oh, this is part of the entertainment. Like, this is like part of the show. Like, oh yeah, he went through a table. That's no big deal. They show up next week on Raw. It's no big deal. But oh my god, I watched all of that. And I watched him walk back to the ring like in real time, man. That is like visceral to me. It's like ingrained in my fucking brain watching that shit.
My favorite character was Sting in WCW. So
Which
when
Sting?
he came,
Which Sting? The black and white Sting?
yeah,
Okay, I respect it.
when he came out with the bat,
Yep.
he was gonna fuck somebody up. It didn't matter who it was. You can't beat him.
Yep.
Of course, he got beat all the time, but
Well, he became like a myth and a
Right.
legend. Like, the guy he doesn't talk. He just shows up and beats the like. He was.
and then they
their
started
Stone
having
Cold.
him talk.
Yeah. Well,
That
they
was bad.
couldn't keep up, man. With like Stone Cold's too much for anyone to keep up with, man. He was too much for the organization itself. You try to give him breaks, like, hey man, take a month off. They can't like it's too hard for them to even do that. He's that important of a fucking character to like that era of wrestling. He's the fucking man. It is what it is. All right, we kind of tangent. Okay, back to the movie. Uh, yeah, just for me, just lacking.
What movie?
For me, lacking. I mean, too many important. Not just like if you just go with straight up like I'm not a wrestling fan, I'm just making some emotional shit. You skip the emotional shit. You kind of skip it. So it's like, what is your
Curse.
point?
It's a curse. There's curses out there, bro.
It's, they gave me no point to be invested in it, and
And it doesn't affect everybody. It's selective.
apparently. All right. Do you have a score for this? I think we wrecked this movie enough. Do you have a score?
I put it in the 6.5 range.
6.5. I'm gonna go lower, man.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lower, man. I think skipping some of your most important, pivotal fucking moments that, not just the wrestling thing, but your films thing. You skipped your films thing, so I have to give it like a 6.1, 6.2, 6.2 tops, 6.2 tops, because it's like you skipped over the thing that you built the film up for. Like they did. about these guys, about the brothers. What did they start the movie with? The dad, right? The dad, he does that fucking Iron Claw thing. Like, oh, Iron Claw, okay, cool. This is about family. This is about this dude's bloodline that happens afterwards.
Obviously,
And
a nothing move.
yes, I agree, but it's wrestling, so they're saying that shit hurts a lot. I got it.
It made Ric Flair's head bleed.
Apparently. But it's like you start off with the dad who's like the fucking kingpin of the family. So I expect everything that happens to these kids are the most important things ever. And they're like, nah, fuck that. Fuck that shit. We'll skip this. We'll skip that. We'll show a heaven scene where I guess one of the brothers shoots himself in the fucking head or chest or something like that, shoots himself in the heart. And now he's in heaven and he's like, oh, I'm hugging my brothers now and we're the Von Erichs. And yeah, a bunch of skipping of the things that I guess you started out with as your main theme. It seemed like. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I didn't look into it enough.
Okay. You're still recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. One thing we didn't say in this, but should be said, is Dad worked his sons like a tough father, and
Yeah.
there was one point he walked up to one of his sons, said, "Hey, the Olympics was canceled. You're gonna get into wrestling." And so it's, yes sir, like, and look down to the ground.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, and they're like pretending like this isn't an abusive situation. It's just a driving ambition.
Well, maybe they get sued. If they put that shit in here, maybe they get sued. Maybe.
but that's part of the movie. While you're looking at this, you're like, oh, I know that guy from when my son was on baseball team. Oh yeah, his son's damaged now. Like, I personally had experiences. I knew this kind of scenario in baseball when I was 7. His dad was yelling at him for he was the shortstop, and his dad would be screaming across the field like, "Why'd you miss that?" Or good job, but
Christ.
you could have thrown that a half a second faster. Or it's
Yeah.
like if you don't fucking hit, oh, you better hit this ball on this next pitch. It's like, I could feel the terror in that 7-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something I brought up when the youngest brother, right? When he hurt his fucking shoulder, right? And then during surgery he ends up in a coma. I would have thought that dad would have ripped the fucking place apart. But he was like kind of like,
Right.
oh no, son, no, trust the doctors. They're doing the best they can. Like he's doing that thing. putting his head down, like, oh, the doctors know what they're doing, and I can't do anything about that shit. But he seems like the grizzly bear dad that's gonna like fuck the room up because my son, who went in for a shoulder injury, is now in a coma. You would think he'd like break someone's arm, right? He'd fuck someone up, right?
No. It's the curse.
Exactly. They kind of went with that instead. They went with it's the curse. Dempster's not trolling when he says
Not
that.
then. Not even then. They let that like what do you call it when you let a steak? Oh, they marinated it for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, marinate it, let it linger, let it sit there for. Like, okay, guys. Like we're expecting this bear of a man to beat the fuck out of someone for his son ending up in a coma, but whatever.
Oh, he was a gentle giant. That was a wrestler that fought people professionally, but he was a gentle giant.
Yeah.
His kids couldn't look him in the eye and just did what he told them to do.
There wasn't even enough real wrestling in this movie. Like real wrestling of like where when they're both in a turnbuckle in the corner, it was like, yo, take a fall here, or like, die, like fall down here and then reverse me. Like there's no like real like the wrestler did that. The wrestler did that.
No whispering.
Yes.
Like, come on, man. Just they could at least be like.
There was a couple scenes of it, but come on.
There was a couple scenes where I'm like, I think he's breaking character and he's just doing his own move, but they're not telling us that.
When what's his name fucked his ribs up, when Zac Efron fucked his ribs up, I didn't know if that was like part of the act or if it was part of
right,
or if he was actually like hurt for real. But I guess he was actually hurt.
Yeah, but we weren't getting that when it happened.
He rolled in at the 10 count like a fucking like a wrestler on TV would. Like, oh shit, he made it in the nick of time. Oh my god. It's like,
but next scene he's taped up in the locker room.
It's like, oh,
so we know it really hurt him.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh shit.
He even says like,
you broke character, you asshole.
I think he even said like, I was supposed to be thrown out the ring that time. Even though the guy told him in the ring, the old dude who had the world championship that Zac Efron was trying to win, he threw him out the ring. He was like, all right, kid, time to go for a ride. He says it in the ring. He's whispering to him, time to go for a ride. He throws him out the ring, and then
I missed that, but okay.
He did say that the older man who was like the world champion, and then then Zac Efron in the back locker room, like, he was supposed to throw me out the ring. I might be mixing up scenes.
That wasn't the issue, though. I get that he threw him out the ring. That wasn't the issue. It was the suplex on the concrete. It was like, and none of us had a clue that was you were saying that injured you. We just thought that was part of the.
Well, he got in at right before the 10 count. He got right in the ring right before the 10 count, which is like usually that's part of the show that someone does that. But I guess it was actually like he would have got in earlier, but he was actually hurt, so he didn't get in until 10, till like 9 or whatever, or 9.5 even. I guess. I don't know. They tried to, I don't know, maybe blur the lines. Wrestling's not fake. Are you sure wrestling's fake? We'll take this body slam. Like, yeah, I'm sure that hurts, man.
You remember with his wife, he had the conversation that it's not fake. You still have to you're still going through promotions. You're earning your way up the ladder.
Yeah, like my world championship is like a promotion. Like
right. So it's fake, but it's a lot of work to be fake.
But they gave no real sense. They tried to build. I think they tried to build drama. Like it wasn't fake. It seemed like that in portions of the movie. They didn't do enough.
But then they go through
when it was happening.
But they have the little conversation with the tag team when it was 2 versus 2, saying all right, we're gonna do choreography this way and that way and this way and that way. All right, and then they just pat each other and walk away.
Yeah.
So they like, okay, it's fake. We're not gonna deny it's fake in the movie.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say this before I end this recording. The Wrestler is a fucking 8 out of 10. This is 2 or 3 tiers below it. Just being honest. The Wrestler is an actual good, like, if I had to, as far as recommendations go, which I guess I try to do with some of these reviews, as far as recommending, I'd say skip this movie, go watch The Wrestler. Go watch Darrenovsky's The Wrestler.
Skip this
instead.
movie and go play what's the old game? WrestleMania 15 or something on your what was it? Not
Sega? What are you talking
no.
about?
What's the Nintendo one?
Super Nintendo?
No, after later. Not too much later though.
64? I don't know.
Yes, Nintendo 64.
Oh,
It's
you
better than
mean
this movie.
okay? You mean WrestleMania? Yeah.
It's better than this movie.
In my mind, I'm seeing like Sega graphics in my head. I'm like, what game is he talking about? Okay, I guess you mean Wrestle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, do
it
that
is.
instead.
Yeah. Have fun for 3 hours. Fuck this movie.
If you want to be smarter, play SmackDown on PlayStation. Do that instead. It's the winner.
No.
For me.
No.
Yes, SmackDown. SmackDown.
No.
What's
The one that
what's
was
the
on
rock shit called?
64. The one that was on 64 was the coolest one.
No.
And
No.
Stone Cold's in it, Mankind's in it, Undertaker's in it.
Yeah, guess what? SmackDown, whatever the fuck it was, it's like Just Bring It. The one with the Rock on the like this. He's like the biggest guy on the cover. The SmackDown, Just Bring It, bro. Go with that instead. I win. Dubster loses. Hope you enjoyed the movie and review. There you go.
So if you can find Nintendo 64,
Don't listen to him.
which is collective at this point,
He is leading you astray. Do not listen to him. Go with SmackDown.
go spend $100. You'll feel better than watching this movie.